Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday. It's actually Wednesday today. I think I told you guys I thought it was Wednesday all day yesterday until late in the evening. So I'm a day behind, or a day ahead, I guess I should have said. So but I'm back on track now. So it's truly Wednesday today. It's July 28th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And range day today, you can clearly see the range. You can see the overnight highs and lows here, and we broke outside that momentarily and failed quickly and came right back in. But this was so late in the afternoon. We actually broke out momentarily down here, still closed inside the overnight highs and lows. So uh, the problem with a day like this, I generally like trading range days when prices consistently bounce down here every time and consistently turn down here every time. But when they bounce at different locations each time and they turn down at different heights and it becomes very hard. We had a little bit of consistency right in here, but we just didn't get any setups. So there's some resistance right here, and it's just you don't get any good setups basically. So there's some trades here today. Not many colored ones, lots of green ones that you could say, hey, I like this trade. There's a reason for it, but they're still a little bit aggressive, and they're still not high, what I would call high probability trades that are almost guaranteed to work. And so if you like trading, there's some of the or the low probability, or I should say risky green ones that I'd like sometimes, but I don't see many I like today. I still mark them and I talk about them, but the ones I like are on the failed breaks lowers. Like there was a nice failed break lower here, but the bar size is 32 ticks. So that's a $425 risk for a scalp. Trying to pick a bottom that I'm not going to take. That's a very there's nothing that's a very low probability trade. Actually, the fact that it failed and broke out and failed makes it a really high probability that it's gonna trap people in reverse. But I don't want to risk 32 points on a scalp. I'm just not going to do it. Sometimes people say, what if the bar's too big? Very rarely is it too big, but this is a case I'd say the bar's too big. Don't trade that. Find some other way to enter. Wait on a better setup. So anyway, let's zoom in here. Let's go through the trades and just understand it's a range day today. And you could see it clearly early on. We're just look how flat the EMA is, and then we get this nice rally up here, and we just barely go higher than the previous high, and we shoot down right below the EMA. It looks like we're going to get a failure here, but by the time this failed second entry long sets up, look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars, and then the one next to it, 5, and then 6. There's just no entry there. There's no way to know what prices are doing. They actually close outside and make a new low and then push up again before coming back down. But most people aren't going to trade in and out of that because it's going to act like a range and it may fail like it did here. That's a possibility right there that you might have traded that trade on the failed breakout. I like to wait on a lower high, and you get that here, and now you're right back to the lows, so you can't enter there. So there's not really any good entries all the way up until almost 7 o'clock here. And at 7 o'clock, you finally get a first entry, second entry, and look how many times you tested that low, and you got a little room here on this one. So I like going long there. It's still not a great setup. It's a little bit of sideways, although there's no bar with the small body there. It really just looks like a move down and then another move down right into support that fails quickly. So if it breaks higher, it's probably going to trap some shorts. And you can see by how quick that bar runs up that that's exactly what it did. So you might enter there. And then you actually get a reversal here. Again, I'm not crazy about this one because of all those. Now that's true congestion because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars going sideways. These bars aren't trending; they're going sideways, and 4 of them have no body or a very tiny body. That's congestion. So it may act as a short trap because it is a failure, but it's just not a high probability one that I like because of that congestion. and there being a double top right there basically. Ends up working, runs up here, makes a high. Notice you got a little move up, break, and you get a couple of swings up, and then you make a double top here, which is the same thing as a lower high. It breaks higher, turns down. I like going short one tick below that bar as long as you got enough room back to the EMA, or you can get in with enough room to get back to the EMA and scalp out. Again, it's not a perfect setup, but there's enough reasons to go short there if you wanted to. And if you just wait, you get that true failure here because you got a high first entry, second entry, and there's clearly a couple of moves down there. So I like this one for your reversal finally. And even if it's going to bounce at the previous support, you got plenty of room there. But maybe their buyers are going to finally give up and we may go all the way back down to the lows. That's what you would expect to happen here. So I like entering short. Pretty good move down. And we get a break, a new low, and then we actually make a higher low right here, but no signal bar. There's a failed second entry short here, but again, that's just sideways stuff. You're not getting rejection down here yet. There's too much chance that we may still be going to push down to the overnight lows. And we end up just in kind of a two-tiered yellow channel, range, as you can see here. We do get a failed breakout, but no signal bar. You get a lower high, no signal bar. It does drop on down and finally bounces. And look, we've made a low. We tested once, twice, 3 times here. And it really looks like 2 legs down with a little 2-legged correction. So you might look at that, even though we don't really look for second entries in a range like this. If you get one that looks like a clear 2 legs, pay attention to it, but don't trade it for that reason. But it adds some validity to this bounce here. Again, I made it green because we're not getting true rejection yet. We do eventually, but I would have liked to seen this bar hit and reverse, or at least this one make a higher high or something. And it just doesn't do that. But it is a very nice signal bar, and we've bounced out here multiple times, and you got plenty of room back to the EMA. So you may take that trade. I like it, but again, it's got some things going on that it's just not a high probability trade. There is a reversal here, and I'll tell you, I liked this trade. There's enough room back to the highs pretty much to scalp out, and you can see the low and the first entry and the second entry, but you'd like to see this come back and test this breakout area again. Really, we've already tested it here, and we'd already broken out here, but I'd still like to see that come back and test the EMA and the resistance here before it breaks higher. But it just, if you can see that midline in there, it's closing and bouncing off that midline, and you do expect it to make a new high, and you would expect prices, if we're going higher, to try to test this high again. So you may take that trade right there. I didn't mark it, but it's a possibility for another one. And of course, you get your break here, move to a new high, and you try to go higher once, twice. So there's a double test there, and there's that failed second entry long. It breaks higher and turns down. The problem with this one is you got to go short right into the EMA, which on a range day is not always that big a deal. It's always something to think about and be, put some thought into it and say, is it worth risking here? Is this a good enough setup? Am I really expecting prices to go lower? And if you can answer all that, then maybe you want to take it, but it's still something to be concerned about. So for that reason, I marked this one green. Turns out to be probably one of the better moves, other than this one maybe. Actually, this one still may be even better because it takes off and actually gets some movement, and I just moved didn't mean to grab that. And it runs down. Of course, it bounces at another odd spot and goes straight back up. There's 2 legs up here. We're looking for prices to test the low, and we don't even get that. I didn't draw this there's a little channel working up here. But you get the close outside, move to a new high, and you get a lower high right here, but no signal bar is terrible. And then we're stacking up sideways again. We finally come back. We make a double top. There's a lower high here, but again, not a very good signal bar, very neutral. And then finally you try to go higher that third time, and you get a nice signal bar here. And technically you could call that a double bottom. So maybe you say, hey, that's 2 legs of correction there as well. So if you've got enough room to get out before these lows, you're actually right there, then you're probably okay to take that trade. I like that trade. It's a failed second entry long. It's a second entry short. Of course, it's in this range, so that's not as important. But there's still a chance it could, if you've got room to get out, that it's worth taking, and this one is. And you can see it runs straight down to where you think it will, and then it finds support. So that's why you got to have enough room to get out, because it could bounce there and go back up. Although this has turned out to be the highs of the day, so you'd expect prices to probably trade back down here. This one is tempting here as well. It's like a breakout pullback short. But with all that congestion, it could snap back and stop you out and still go where you like. So I'm just afraid of it. I don't think it's worth taking. You get a second entry short here, but look at your signal bar. Very, very bullish, not even back to the EMA. Not much room to that to those lows right there. And you got some previous support there. Just not a good trade. And we drop on down, and we finally get this failed break lower, which that would be a decent place to enter. And even this one. But by the time this one forms, there's no rejection there. It's just sideways. And these are basically all inside type bars. They're not completely inside. That one's definitely inside of this one. And this one maybe breaks out by a tick. This bar is just way too big. This one's not, by this time there's no rejection. It's not a good place to enter. Even though it takes off, the next time it won't. And so I just don't like it. But if you're patient, in a minute you get a second entry long with a good signal bar here. There's your trade. And it runs up. Of course, it doesn't go very high again. And then you get another two-legged correction and another second entry long here when it breaks above this bar. I didn't like this one as much because we're under the EMA, and you would have expected we might have gone higher here. So it's a little, but you've tested this a couple of times, and I think what prices are doing, they're just coming back to test that level right there one more time. And when it holds again, you can see the traders, now they have confidence and more information that, hey, we're probably going higher here. And it does. Look how rapidly it takes off right there. They probably trap the shorts that are trying to jump in here and get short when this is not a good place to be short. And they got punished right there. And this actually runs on up. And they'll do that a lot. Send prices in one direction when they keep trying to go higher here and can't. Look how long they've been trying to get above here for a while, and they can't. And finally they set it up like we're going lower, and they trap everybody, and they use that momentum of the trap to push it on up, and we finally get out the top. Even then it can't sustain it though, and we're turning back down. And most of this is just sideways stuff. I don't see anything that I like there. It's a little bit of a downward trend to it. And it's really hard to know. I played it like you see it right here. Eventually with two tiers, but this just look, you can see how flat the EMA is and how we're just back and forth, back and forth. I did like this short because this is the high of the range. And we made a double top here. We tried to go higher once, twice. So if we break lower there, we're probably going lower. And it does look like we got a trend line right here. So I like that one, but that was it. That took us into 2 o'clock, which where we turned gray there. So that's what I saw today. And again, this looks more sideways than it does a trend. So you could almost take that off and just look at the, you might have looked at it like so. If you looked at it like that, you probably wouldn't have taken that short either though. But we did push through there previously. So there's still some reasons you might like that. But I liked it because I was looking at it as a downward channel there. So anyway, that's how I saw it today. And I don't know why this thing has moved. It doesn't. I'm just going to take it off and put it back on there. Every time I've put that on there, it moved on me. I've never seen that happen with NT8 lately, unless I've gotten some setting. That's the only one that did it. Let's color it again and see if it Moves. Now, yep, see how it moved? I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's because we've changed. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's really strange. Anyway, I'm not going to waste your time with that. That's something going on. It's the only one that did it, and it did it several times. Even the new one did it. It's not doing it now, but it was. So, but I won't waste your time with that. I'm going to wrap this one up. Again, you can see the range day there. It's not a consistent where we consistently turn at the same spots, and that makes these hard. So if you struggle on a day like this, it's because it's a hard day to trade. So even a good chart reader will struggle on a day because there's no consistency. And sometimes, I mean, lately, there's been a few days where I just didn't trade. I did take one trade today, but that was it. I just didn't see anything I liked. So a smart trader, there will be days you just say, hey, I'm going to take the day off and go do something else, or I'm not going to waste my time here. I'm not going to risk some of these entries, and I'm going to go do something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know as a new trader, people think I got to trade every day, and you're eager and you're excited, and if you're feeling that way, you're probably better off you're really not there yet, because trading, you need to get to a point where this is a business or a job, and you're coming here to make money. You're not coming here to trade or to find excitement or to test your wits against somebody else. If you're coming here for those reasons, you're going to struggle. You need to be coming here because this is a business, this is going to be your job, and you're here to make money. And if you're here for any other reason, you're probably going to struggle as a trader. So keep that in mind. This is not, if you want to get your thrills with gambling, go to the casino. Your odds will be better. Unless you're a really good chart reader. I mean, if you want to make money as a trader, you can't gamble. It's just as simple as that. Gamblers don't last as traders. You just don't do it. If you want to be a gambler, go find you a card game or go to the casino. You'll be better off, I promise you. You need to treat this like a business and a job, and if you look at it like that, you'll have much more success. So anyway, didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but it came up, so it's worth talking about, and I hadn't mentioned it in a while. But I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again tomorrow. Believe it or not, tomorrow, I believe, is Thursday, because yes, today is Wednesday. So tomorrow's Thursday, and we will be back to wrap up the week. And yeah, it feels like a 6-day week to me because I was off a day, 5-day week or whatever. So yeah, I usually work 5 days anyway, but not doing the chart lesson on Fridays, I guess I would feel like a 5-day week. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow and wrap up the week. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.